Ohio. Auschwitz, the city in Poland, is included into Lesser Poland Voivodeship. Is in 60 kilometers from the city of Krakow. It is located in the territory of the Auschwitz Gmina of the Auschwitz County. I am world famous thanks to the concentration camp of the same name which was located in it during World War II when Poland was under control of Nazi Germany. In translation from Polish, Auschwitz means consecrated. The city is located at confluence of the Sola River with Vistula. As of December 31, 2007, 40520 people lived in the city. By the number of inhabitants, he takes the 4th place in Lesser Poland Voivodeship. In 1975-1998 the city belonged to the Bielsko-Bialski Voivodeship. Auschwitz lies in the center of the Auschwitz Hollow, between the Carpathian Pogorze and the Silesian Mountains. With nearby regions, Low Polish, the Top Silesia and Tishinsky Silesia, the city has convenient automobile, railway and water communication. According to 2002, Auschwitz occupied the space of 30.3 km, including the processed lands -34%, the woods -1%. The size of the city is 7.46% of the area of the county. The coat of arms of Auschwitz, a historical municipal coat of arms, is described so. In the azure field a silver tower about 5 teeth with a chervony roof. On the parties from a tower of a half of golden eagles. A flag of Auschwitz, a flag of the city, is made in the form of a rectangular panel of fabric of blue color, with a ratio of the parties 5:8. In the middle of a flag the coat of arms of Auschwitz without frame is located. Height of the coat of arms equals to a half of length of the short party of a flag. Emblem of Auschwitz. In 2002 the management of the city made the decision on creation of an emblem of the city which had to have an inscription. City of Auschwitz. And a graphic symbol. However, the created emblem received an inscription. Auschwitz, the city of the world. And the graphic sign representing the flying up bird, a white pigeon. A world symbol. On a background 2 human figures symbolizing unity of races are represented. The city has almost 800-year history and is one of the oldest cities in Poland. For the first time he is mentioned in 1179 as the settlement remote from Krakow. In 1241 it was completely destroyed during Mongolo-Tatar invasion. In 1272 again restored, Auschwitz receives the status of the city. At the end of the 13th century the first Germans, and at the beginning of the 16th century, Jews lodged in the city. Throughout centuries the city changed the political affiliation. In 1348 the city became a part of the Sacred Roman Empire. During this period German began to prevail over Polish. In 1655 the city was destroyed again by Swedes. As a result of the Swedish flood, the city completely lost the importance, and in 1772 was a part of Austria. After the end of World War I in 1918 the city became the territory of Poland again. Before World War II in the city there were about 800 Jews. On September 4, 1939, the city was occupied by troops of the German Wehrmacht, then Decree A. Hitler. It was attached to the territory of Nazi Germany. At the time of World War II in the city there was a German concentration camp consisting of 3 complexes which became the place of the massacre for all history of mankind. Jews made of the total number of the victims of this camp of 90%. The Auschwitz camp occupied the territory in 4675 hectares in which there were 40 camps. 620 barracks of camps of Auschwitz held constantly from card to card prisoners. Over an entrance to the Auschwitz I camp the slogan hung: Arbeit macht frei. Work releases. The first prisoners appeared in Auschwitz in 1940. Nobody drove out of 728 residents of Krakow who arrived then in the camp. On September 3, 1941 to the Auschwitz I camped 600 Soviet prisoners of war who were destroyed together with the Polish prisoners. 250 people. In underground camps of Block No. 11. Death block. By means of pesticide of Cyclone B were brought. It was the first Nazi experiment on Massachusetts extermination of people. Cyclone B. Massachusetts extermination of prisoners in gas chambers of Auschwitz concentration camp 2. It was constructed on the place of the Polish village of Byzinka, the German name Birkenau. Began with spring of 1942. To the camp 2 death echelons brought hundreds of thousands of Jews from territories of the European countries and the Soviet Union occupied by Germany. Everything, by modern estimates, in Auschwitz concentration camp from card to card people among whom more than card Jews, card Poles, 200,000 Gypsies, tens of thousands of Russians died. During approach of the Soviet troops on January 18, 1945 580,000 able-bodied prisoners were stolen to Germany. Most of them died in the camp Sachsenhausen, Bergen-Belsen and others. On January 27, 1945, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the 100th Rifle Division of the General F.M. Krasavin freed Auschwitz and Birkenau. The first boat to the city and the assault group of the 106th Rifle Corps under command of the Major Anatoly Shapiro rushed into the camp. His group cleared of mines approaches to the camp, then the Major personally opened gate of the camp Auschwitz I and participated in suppression of resistance of CC. In the freed camp of People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs I created the place for keeping of the German prisoners of war. The camp functioned till fall of 1945, and the second of them put in the building of the former camp Auschwitz of 2, till spring of 1946. In camps there were about people. The Soviet Colonel Masloboyev was a commandant. Besides, in the city the Ministry of Public Safety, which main building was near the railway station Auschwitz, functioned. The ministry supported the prisoners suspected of collaboration with NSDAP, the Hitler Youth and the UMP in buildings of the former camp. The camp was closed in March 1946. In 1947 the concentration camp was converted in a museum, and in 1979 was included in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List. Annually the museum visits about 1 million tourists from around the world. After the war in the city, new residential districts and buildings were built. Chemical industry became primary activity. In 1952, the Auschwitz county, which after carrying out administrative reform became Bielski's part of the voivodeship, was created. In 1979, the mayor's position was founded, and in 1999, as a result of new administrative reform, the city was a part of Lesser Poland voivodeship. The first Jews arrived in Auschwitz in the middle of the 16th century, and in 1563 the decree regulating the number of Jews in the city was issued. In 1588 in Auschwitz there was a synagogue and a Jewish cemetery. In 1666 Jews in the city possessed 20 buildings. In the second half of the 19th century considerable inflow of Hasidim began. In 1765 133 Jews, in 1910 about 300, and in 1921 4950 persons. 40% of number of inhabitants lived in the city. During World War II, Jews of Auschwitz were imprisoned in a ghetto in the cities of Chanów, Będzin and Sosnowiec. Later Nazis moved them to the concentration camp and practically killed all. After war, some Jews returned to Auschwitz. In 1946 in the city there lived 186 Jews, but till 1955 all Jews emigrated. In 1962 Simon Kluger, who died on May 26, 2000 and buried at the local Jewish cemetery, returned to the city. He became the last Jew living in Auschwitz. Auschwitz is the Polish name with a 800-year history. The name of the city has Slavic origin. Auschwitz was an important shopping center. The German merchants and settlers gave him the name Auschwitz, which for the first time occurs in documents of the 14th century. And in the 15th century the name Auschwitz began to be published on the German maps, in dictionaries and books. After a city entrance to structure of Nazi Germany, invaders changed the Polish name Auschwitz for the German Auschwitz. Right after release of the city by troops of the Red Army, on January 27, 1945, his former name was returned to the city. City sites: Church of the Mother of God of Reminiscence True in Auschwitz, State Museum Auschwitz-Birkenau, Simon Kluger's house, now Jewish Museum of Auschwitz, Lock, Tunnels, Street, Yakov's Chapel, Church of the Assumption of Blessed Virgin of Maria, Church of the Mother of God of Reminiscence True, Church of the Mother of God Grieving, Market Square, Town Hall, the Operating Synagogue, Jewish Cemetery, Wedding Palace, Transport, Water Transport. In Auschwitz the Verkhneveslinsky waterway begins. The National Airport of John Paul II Krakow-Balica App. 60 km. The Katowice International Airport in Katowice App. 75 km. City Department of Transport in Auschwitz -9 city and 16 suburban lines, 50 buses. The enterprise of motor transport and communication covers the cities Kraków, Bielsko-Biała, Kęta, Lubince, Jam, Tychy, Wadowice, Williamowice, Aks, Osijek. Auschwitz County, Polyanka Wielka. Auschwitz has through traffic to the cities Kraków, Katowice, Czechowice-Jeździce, Chebynia, Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Žilina. Culture. In the city there are cultural and educational institutions. Their task consists in creating an image of Auschwitz as the cities of the world are available. National Music School, Auschwitz Center of Culture, Amateur Film Society Chemist, Chemic, at the Auschwitz Center of Culture, City Public Library, Youth Recreation Center, State Museum Auschwitz-Birkenau, the International House of a Meeting of Youth in Auschwitz, Sport, Ice Skating Rink, Municipal Sport and Leisure, the Covered Swimming Pool, Street Chemico 2, Ice Skating Rink, Street Chemico 4, Football Stadiums, Hotel the Olympic, Sports Clubs, Hockey Club, Swimming Club, Club of Figure Skating, Students Hockey Club, Women's Hockey Club, Basketball Club, Football Club, Volleyball Club, Tennis Club, Club of Archery, Famous Natives and Inhabitants, Shimon Kluger, 1925-2000. The Last Jew Living in Auschwitz. Jacques, Shadwiga, Carolina, one of the 11 Novorotsky martyrs. Urbaniak, Urshula is a director. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.